The smell hit them first. A thick, smoky aroma drifting across the camp, warm and unfamiliar. The German prisoners looked at each other, confused. This wasn't the smell of military rations. This wasn't the thin soup or hard bread they expected. One of them whispered, "Is that meat?" They had no idea what was coming. Stay until the end, because what happened next became one of the strangest, most unexpected memories these German POWs ever carried home. Arrival in a different world. When the German POWs first arrived in the United States, they braced for the worst. They expected harsh treatment, cold food, and constant punishment. That's what they had been told to expect if captured. Instead, they found something entirely different. The camps were strict, yes, but orderly. The guards were firm, but not cruel. And the food, well, the food was nothing like what they imagined. But nothing prepared them for the day the Americans rolled out the grills. The mysterious preparations. It began before sunrise. A few German POWs assigned to morning cleanup duty noticed American soldiers hauling out metal drums and wooden crates behind the mess hall. At first, it looked like routine work, nothing unusual. But then the soldiers brought out bags of charcoal, stacks of firewood, and long metal tongs. One German POW whispered, "Are they burning something?" Another shook his head. "No, this looks different." The Americans worked with a kind of relaxed confidence, laughing among themselves as they set up the grills. The Germans watched from a distance, trying to understand what was happening. They weren't used to seeing soldiers this cheerful. Then came the meat. Huge cuts of beef wrapped in butcher paper. Wrecks of ribs marinated in something dark and glossy. Slabs of pork coated in spices the Germans didn't recognize. The German POWs exchanged stunned looks. Meat like this hadn't been seen in Germany for years. Not during the war, some not even before it. One German POW muttered, "That can't be for us." Another replied, "Then who is it for? The officers." But the Americans didn't act like they were preparing a private feast. They were making enough food for an army. As the grills heated up, the soldiers began rubbing spices into the meat. Paprika, pepper, garlic, brown sugar, salt, and something sweet the German POWs couldn't identify. The smell of the spices alone made their stomachs tighten. By mid-morning, smoke began to rise. Thick, rich, fragrant smoke that drifted across the entire camp. The German POWs stopped working, stopped talking, stopped thinking about anything except that smell. They didn't know it yet, but this was their first encounter with American barbecue, and it was about to become a story they would tell for the rest of their lives. The smell that changed everything. By noon, the entire camp smelled like heaven, covered in a thick cloud of smoke. The smoke curled through the air, drifting over the fences, slipping into the barracks. The German prisoners stood outside, inhaling deeply, unable to hide their reactions. One of the German POWs muttered, "I haven't smelled anything like this since ever." Another laughed. Are they trying to torture us with good food? But the Americans weren't teasing them. They were preparing something else entirely. A guard walked by and said casually, "Don't wander off. You'll be eating soon." The German POWs stared at him. Eating? This? The unexpected invitation. Late afternoon, the gates to the mess area opened. A guard waved the German POWs forward. "Line up. Everyone gets a plate." The Germans hesitated. Surely this was a mistake. Surely this food was for the Americans. But no, the soldiers were serious. One by one, the German prisoners stepped forward and received plates piled high with smoked beef, ribs, beans, cornbread, and coleslaw. The Germans stared at their plates in disbelief. "This is for us?" The guard smirked. "Eat before it gets cold." The first bite was all it took. Eyes widened, jaws dropped. Some of the German POWs actually laughed out loud. They devoured the ribs, licking sauce from their fingers. They savored the smoky beef, the sweetness of the barbecue sauce, the softness of the cornbread. For a moment, just a moment, the war felt far away. A memory they never forgot. Years later, many of these German POWs told the same story. Not about battles, not about hardship, but about the day the Americans made barbecue. They described the smell, the taste, the shock of being treated with unexpected humanity. Some even tried to recreate American barbecue when they returned home, though few could match the original. It became a strange, almost surreal memory. The day enemy soldiers fed them better than their own army ever had. This is a true World War II story inspired by documented accounts and memoirs of German POWs who highlighted their fair treatment and the American generosity. Because sometimes, in the middle of all that darkness, something unexpected can happen. Something human, something warm, something unforgettable. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments and subscribe for more true World War II stories.